Hi, everybody. It's Josh with Talk About Trek, and today we are going to be talking about Star Trek Lower Decks #1. Very excited to be talking about this comic today. Let's get a closer look here at the cover. Uh, Now, this is the very first comic that I've ever basically bought like on a monthly basis. I have collected a lot of the older Trek comics. Actually, picked up these five bad boys today out of the 50-cent box, if you can believe it. And I have a lot of Next Generation comics, a lot of TOS comics, and just kind of a random collection. But this I am very excited for, because this is Star Trek Lower Decks #1, which looks to be fantastic. And I have already read the first issue here, and very excited for this comic. So we'll take a close look inside at some of the things that I think deserve a closer look at, but we're not going to read through page by page here. First thing I do want to point out, though, this is excellent. This here, just the inside cover or the credits here, I love how they did that. So this is written by Ryan North, art by Chris Finoglio, and the letters and design by Johanna Natalie. And I'm assuming that she's responsible for this awesome inside cover here that we have to admire. So I won't get into the story very much here. We're just going to kind of quickly flip through, and I will point out some of the highlights as I see them here. So first thing I want to say is it translates so well from the screen to the page, as I figured it would, because I mean, look at it. You look at this, and it looks just right out of the cartoon, So right away, you have all this wonderful additional, beautiful shots of the Cerritos to admire here, and the artist did a fantastic job, I have to say. Look at this spread right here, 2-page beauty shot of the Cerritos in warp with your title there, all in a sea of wonders. So the story follows basically the upper decks and their second contact mission, and the lower decks and their R&R. And Boimler, his R&R is basically the Dixon Hill program in the holodeck. So he's got that set up and running here. And as you can see, they've got their 1940s attire going into the office of Dixon Hill private investigator there. So Boimler's having a good time, Tendy's having a good time, but Mariner's not really having much of it, and she wants to do her own thing, which she does, which gives us some very fun shots here that we'll have a look at. So she wants to have a kind of a look at all the Enterprises, and she does that. So, nice little shot there. And then, a quick sequence where they kind of jump on the bridge of different Enterprises. So you got the NX-01, the original, and look who's at the helm there. I love that. And look at that, the Enterprise C, Captain Garrett's Enterprise. Very cool. So, I love that they did that. That was excellent. And then they have their own fun little kind of holodeck. They have that holodeck adventure, a holodeck misadventure. As always happens on the holodeck. So some really fun stuff there. They call back to the, of course, TNG episodes with Moriarty and the holodeck there, which were so awesome. Which kind of leads to the whole issue that's going on here with this. And again, just some great art of the Cerritos in distress here. Look at that. Again, here's kind of like this is a nice full page shot there too. Love Billups up there. Very funny comic, stays very true to the characters. Very silly, as is the show. Just what I was expecting. A nice little scene with Ransom here at the end, which was very good. Also, there's all these little notes here at the bottom, which I love, which are so funny and add so much to it. So, excellent little addition there. So it turns out there is a little bit of a twist on the second contact mission. Of course, when they get to the planet, there is a castle, which they were not expecting. And of course, it looks like there's going to be some more trouble with some angry natives there as well. And that's how issue 1 draws to a close there, with also a little bit of Dracula shenanigans in the holodeck, perhaps. So here in the end of the book, they give you some bonuses. You have what I believe the alternate covers that you can get. So here's your Dracula Boimler. Then here's the cover that came with this book. And then just some additional art here. This says art by J. Fosget. Really like this one, art by Philip Murphy. So here's kind of like almost like a movie poster view of like a holodeck scenario. I love the Watson Rutherford too. That's fantastic. Q in the magnifying glass there. Something going on with Billups here in the back. Ransom has managed to rip his shirt somehow, of course. And Mariner looks none too happy to be in the situation whatsoever. Well, look at that. In the shuttlecraft, Shax and Dr. Tana, I believe. And then here, the final cover, they show you kind of cool, something going down on the planet there with the natives, maybe. So, and then here at the end, on the last couple of pages, they have what looks to be like a little travel poster. Travel to Cavanti, World of Tomorrow. Again, I really love the art on this. I mean, the comic looks just like the show, and I love the look of the show so much. And this also at the end, I really like too. So instead of just ads and stuff, they added all this additional fun bonus content for us here. So here's Badgie Explains It All. It looks like you want to uncover hidden references in this Lower Decks comic. You got it. And then they list all these episodes that they call back in this comic. And then here they say they'll reveal next time the answers. And I think that I noticed most of these when I was reading. So a lot of great callbacks, which is, I mean, this is what Lower Decks does so well, you know. And then they give us this, which is fantastic. A little bit of kind of like the art, I guess, before the color was done. And it says, please mark inconsistency. So I'm assuming that there's some things here that are like wrong that we're supposed to look at and figure out. So that's fantastic. And then last but not least, this final page here. An actual ad for Cerritos Food Replicators. Now serving Warp 5 nachos. Set phasers to spicy. And Badgie says, now with cheese-flavored cheese. Love it. Some Ninja Turtle stuff here on the back. And, ooh, here's an ad for Star Trek number 400. So, that is our look at Star Trek Lower Decks by IDW. I loved it. This was the September issue, and I know October, hopefully, will be coming before too long, because I'm really excited to see where this is going. And that was not even the end of my adventures today, so there was another one that was in my box when I went in, which we are going to talk about tomorrow, which is this Star Trek Picard Stargazer, also by IDW. Now, the art on this one, I didn't like as much, but the story seems really cool. So I can get past the art, because nothing's ever going to live up to this as far as, you know, living up to the show for me. But I definitely do want to talk about that because the story is cool, and it seems like kind of a segue between the Picard season 2 and 3, possibly. So, but anyway, Lower Decks number 1 out now in your comic book store, and go and get it because it was very, 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 very good, very funny, very true to the show. And if you're a fan of the show and you like comic books, you will definitely enjoy this very much. So, I hope you all enjoyed tuning in for this look at IDW Lower Decks number 1. We'll be back tomorrow to talk about Stargazer, but Lower Decks, this is where it's at. So, thank you so much for watching as always. Live long and prosper, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.